Great TUC. Great TUC. Solidarity.
Forever.
Solidarity.
Forever.
Thank you so much, comrades. Let's have our seats. I say good afternoon to every one of us. Good afternoon. The organs of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria kick-started its meeting since yesterday. We had the meeting of the NAC, the meeting of the CWC that has now accumulated into the NEC meeting that we just concluded. And at the end of this NEC meeting, some positions has been canvassed and the communique has been put forward. So there are some issues that were clearly looked at during the conversations in this NEC and also in all the conversations we have been having since yesterday. And first of them is the fact that today we looked at the state of power and electricity and the recent hike in the electricity tariffs. We all woke up suddenly few weeks back to learn that government has increased the tariff for what they termed the Band A customers. For us in Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, our resolve was that the increment was done hastily, the process and the procedure was not followed. There are provisions as stated in the Act that before you increase tariffs, there should be stakeholders' engagement. And in this case, that wasn't done. And all we have resolved is that government must follow the due process as spelled out by the law. We are a country that is governed by rules. We are countries that is governed by laws. And in anything we do, the rules and the laws must be strictly followed and must be strictly applied. Today, electricity tariffs are being increased, where some people are still using meters that are not prepaid, where you still do a lot of calculations to arrive at what someone would pay. We have customers in millions who does not have prepaid meters. They still live with estimated billings. What that means is that even if these customers are in the so-called Band A areas, you'll be giving them estimated billings. They'll be paying for bills while they are at work. They'll be, when everything in their home is switched off, they'll be paying for bills when they don't have light. They'll be paying for bills even when they are on vacations and their entire household is being shut down. And we think that this is not appropriate. We think that this is not right. And governments have to revisit this. Part of the demand is that there should be mass metering. Every single house in Nigeria should have a prepaid meter. But then you will pay for only what you consume. And the estimated billing will become a thing of the past. And there must be stakeholder engagement. Whenever it's been muted that tariff of electricity is about to be increased, there must be that engagement, because it is through that engagement and social dialogue that all the cards will be laid bare and put on the table. Sometime in the first quarter, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria led a delegation to the Port Harcourt Refinery. And in that delegation, in that visit to Port Harcourt Refinery, during the inspection, both the contractors and those that are employees of NNPC, they told us clearly that the refinery is going to come into fruition at the first week of April or thereabout. Today, we are approaching the end of April, and the refinery has not started, production has not resumed in the old Port Harcourt refinery. We wish to hereby call on government to do everything within its arsenal to ensure that the old Port Harcourt refinery start production immediately. You could go outside today and you could see queues everywhere in FCT and in some other neighboring states. But we firmly believe that if our refineries were working optimally, today such queues wouldn't have been there. Recently, the president signed some executive orders regarding some incentives for oil and gas production, because today there is a reduction in investment in the oil and gas industry. If you could remember, in our last press briefing, we clearly stated that part of the reason we are having shortage of FS today is because of our reduced crude oil production. If this country could go back to the era we were producing 2.2 to 2.5 million barrels of crude per day, the inflow of forex amidst the high cost of crude oil today in the international market will give us a lot of foreign exchange in our country, and it will help us in stabilizing the naira. Yes, we welcome the development to the fact that the government is putting in place some incentives to ensure that the operations in the oil and gas industry increase. This is in line with the demand that we put forward in our last press briefing sometime in February. But we are urging government to deepen the fiscal incentives because today crude oil is now found literally everywhere in the world. Gone are those days where crude is just found in about 4, 5, 6 countries in Africa. Today, crude is literally in almost every country in the world. So we encourage the government to continuously move in this path, because if we keep shouting and pushing to the and dancing to the dictates of the IMF and World Bank and all the international agencies regarding the issue of transition, we are going to lose it, because as a country, we need our oil and gas to boost our foreign exchange earning. That is the shortest way as of today, and that is the quickest way to ensure that our naira is stabilized. Because in our last press briefing as well, we were able to show the relationship between the high increase or the high amount that we pay today in terms of our exchange rate, naira to dollar. We were able to show that that is literally what affects everything that we have. You could see that when naira started trickling down from the high end of about 1,900 to where it is now, you could see that it has started having some little impact, although some of the manufacturers and the sellers of commodity, they will tell you that they still have old stock in store. But all we have asked them, when naira goes up, you adjust immediately. But when naira comes down, why don't you also adjust immediately? Yeah, why don't you adjust downward at the same time? We also called on government in our last press briefing that they should tame the state of insecurity in our country so that farmers could go back to farm. Because today we are having food shortage across the length and breadth of our country because farmers have literally run away from farms. We see the state of killings in Plateau. We see what is happening in Kaduna. We see what is happening in Benue. So we hereby call on government to continuously fight the act of banditry, to continuously fight the kidnappers, to do everything possible to stamp out this menace from our country, because people need to go to farm to cultivate. That is when the prices of goods will reduce in the market. When all these are done, it has a way of impacting positively on the sliding economic faith of our country. We all know that today we are facing economic hardship as a people and as a country. But if government goes ahead to get some of these things done, we will be better for it as people. Then the next section also discuss the issues of minimum wage, and that government have to do everything possible to ensure that this is fast-tracked. Because the only way you can inflate your economy is when you empower the working class. The only way you can inflate your economy is when people have money to purchase goods in the supermarket, when people have money to go to the regular market to purchase items. If there is no money to purchase these items, if the purchasing power parity is relatively low, what is going to happen is that the manufacturers will produce their goods and they will keep it in the shelf because there wouldn't be patronage from the people. So we demand that the Committee on Minimum Wage should hasten their activities so that a new minimum wage will be put in place. This is the only way that the economy will be reinflated. Then also on the labor law review, for several years, we have been trying to review the labor laws. All attempts to get the ninth National Assembly to pass the new labor law did not materialize. This has been a seesaw, even in the 8th National Assembly. That today we have the 10th National Assembly, and currently the labor law has not been laid before them. We want to urge the Federal Ministry of Labor, the federal government of Nigeria, and all stakeholders to ensure that the labor law is reviewed, is drafted, is sent to the National Assembly and passed into law. Because we cannot be operating with an obsolete law. Because as people operating in this generation, people operating in the 21st century, in 2024, we shouldn't be applying laws that were passed several years ago. That is really obsolete. Then also, in the issue of wage award, the next section also frowned at the fact that the last wage award that was paid to the federal workers was February 2023. February 2024. Pardon. And that of March and April that is just ending has not been paid. So we hereby call on government to immediately release the payment of wage award for March 2024 and April 2024, and to ensure its regular payments moving forward, so that at the end of the month, when salary is coming in, the wage award is also paid until the new minimum wage is put in place, as agreed in the communique of October 2nd of 2023. Yes, so on the Oronsaye's report, we also discussed that as of today, there is no representation of the organized labor in that committee. We hereby call on government to inculcate members of TUC, of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, into the committee that is currently reviewing or implementing the Oronsaye's report. Because you cannot shave our head when we are not there. Because we will not accept any fallout that is going to impact on our members when they conclude without us. So we demand that we must be there to look at what the committee is doing and also make our recommendations and make our voice heard. There is no gainsaying the fact that today we are facing economic hardship. And based on this, at the federal level, we engaged the federal government, as you are aware, from last year, that accumulated into the signing of the communique October 2nd of 2023. And after that communique was signed, we also empowered our respective state councils to follow up with their state government to ensure two things. One, put in place palliatives. Palliative is for the immediate. Palliative is not a permanent solution to the economic downturn that we are facing today as a country. But palliative could solve immediate challenge, but it will not be able to meet the at the long run. Palliative cannot solve our problems. So that is why we were also yearning for a sustainable solution that is robust. A solution that will meet the yearnings of the Nigerian workers and indeed the Nigerian masses. Because that is why these governments are elected from the federal to the local government level. And we observed, we collected reports across the various states in the country. And in that report that we collected, we could see that some states have been doing literally well in terms of payment of wage awards, in terms of putting palliatives in place, and in terms of putting in place a more robust and a substantive solution to solving the issues that we have today as a country. And some of these states that are worthy to be mentioned is a state like Borno State, Oyo State, Lagos State, Rivers State, Kaduna State, Yobe State, Ebonyi State, Bayelsa State, and the Federal Capital Territory. But we have some states that have done literally nothing. They have done next to nothing. Even some states in the Niger Delta that are receiving over 20 billion naira per month. They have literally done nothing to solve the economic challenges of today and also put in place a sustainable solution for tomorrow. And top in that list is Benue State. Benue State has done nothing for the workers. Benue State has done nothing for the masses of the state. Literally, nothing has been done in Benue. So we hereby call on the government of Benue to put in robust mechanisms to solve the economic challenges that our members and the masses are passing through in the state. And also, the state of Anambra, we are a bit surprised because we felt that if that state is being led by an economist, that he should be able to put on the thinking cap. He should be able to put on sustainable solutions that will appease the masses of that state. But Anambra also fall in this category. Then the state of Imo is another one that literally, they have not done anything to appease our members. Same thing to the state of Delta. Delta top the list of states that collect fat allocation from the federation account. Delta is number 1 in that list. It is surprising to note that the Delta state governor is doing nothing to uplift the plight of workers in Delta. So we ever call on him that as the state governor, he promised a lot when he was on his electionary campaign, that the talk is over, that this is the time to act. Also, Akwa Ibom, they've done a little, but they have to do much more because these are states with means. These are states with huge amount of revenue. They should do much more. Then also, the state of Kebbi and the state of Katsina, we strongly believe that what they are doing is piecemeal and that they should up the ante. In the coming days, we will be engaging these states that have done nothing. We will be engaging them, we will be pushing them to do the needful because it is time we trickle it down from federal to state and to local government. Thank you so much, comrades. Thank you, gentlemen of the press. We appreciate. There is victory for us. There is victory for us. In that struggle for our members, there is victory for us. Forward ever.